like, oh my God, it's everything I told Ken. Like, everything.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Ken Jamaica, host and managing broker. I'm joined today by
Katie Martin, TC and co-host.
And Shannon Mabberley, director of operations, realtor, and overall pretty cool human. So Shannon and I go way back, years of doing networking more than business together. I don't think we've done a transaction together, have we?
We have, years and years ago, at least I'm pretty sure. And your headshot made me want to do a transaction with you. It was only 2020. I remember wearing a mask at one of your listings.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So 2020 is a long time ago. I have a goldfish memory where that's concerned. So you wear a lot of hats, right? I mean, recently you were with a reasonably sized team, not a huge team, not a small team. And you were a director of operations, if I recall.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Okay. It can mean many things. But in this space and industry, it's basically orchestrating and architecting the systems to run high productive teams. The difference with me is I make it highly human as well. There's a misconception about director of operations that they should be hidden in a closet. They don't like people. When reality is, it is running a business revolved around people in a systematic way so people can thrive in that environment. So I do anything from building operation systems, so building SOPs, so standard operating procedures, anything that can be systematic, I'm doing automation. A lot of it with director of operations in our industry is I have two different sides of my job. I have the client facing and I have the agent facing, and both are my clients essentially. So it's creating a good and seamless experience for them.
Okay. So you're kind of a shepherd in some aspects, just trying to keep the flock moving in the right direction. You mentioned SOPs. Do you have a very structured thing, or is it more let the agents do what they want? And I ask that because I, as a broker, I tell my agents, I will work as hard as you do, right? If you want to go get it, be Masters Club in the first 2 weeks, cool, let's do it. I'm right there with you. If you want to sit on the couch and eat bonbons, I am good at being fat. So, let me know what we're doing and I'm there with you, right? So do you kind of have that mentality, or are you more structured where, by 2:00 on Tuesday, you need to have done these 3 things?
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I've met people in the industry, so I have a good friend that I partnered with, and he was extremely intimidated by me at first. And then I'm hearing it across the board is that, there's intimidation at first with me that is just systems. The truth is and how I feel in my core. And when you actually partner with me or in my world or in my sphere or however it is, it's an environment that's safe for you to be hit your highest purpose in the system. Because I do believe a systematic way is growth. It's scalable. You can be who you are authentically and run the business how you are. We just got to have the systems around it. And I think that's where a lot of agents, in the real estate industry are looking, they skip systems entirely, or they avoid it. They're avoidant to it, when that's actually where you should start, is a little bit of structure. But I would say my flow is very much how that agent is across from me. And the story he was telling, and it's 2 people on a team I had, and they're like, what's crazy about it is when you're with her, you actually realize it's not do the systems, do this, and structure, accountability. It's I believe in them to do the things, to be their highest and best self, to hit all their goals. And these things will actually work. So it's a difference with just being a ruler, this is the only way. I've actually learned a lot from the most chaotic agents to create the strongest system that anyone can like survive in that and like grow their business.
So is your structure tools based? Is it process based? Is it accountability based? Like what is the core of your system?
I think the framework is the culture around the people I'm with. And now I'm doing operations for almost 300 agents. So on a higher level, I have to make the structure big enough for people to buy in, to understand. It's only like a few things that you need to do. And when you take 5 minutes and create that relationship with the agent and find out where their highest and best use sell, that's where the system still lives. Like, is it a time of day? Is it an actual tool? Is it a process? Is it accountable? Like, what is it going to be? So getting to know the person across the table for me is how I build that structure. So it's a very unique world for agents to live in and thrive in because it's unique to them and their experience. Just like clients having a good experience with you as an agent. I've done the whole method of, put the water out, like carrot to whip. What's the saying? Like
Carrot and stick, yeah.
Carrot and stick or whatever. Sorry, I went really dark with that really quick. I try all of that, but it turns out like everybody's a little bit different. And once you make it their idea, so I'm very good at letting them say what it is that they're needing and then build that structure around them. So the framework is around everything you said, like all the things, the tools, I got them. Resources, I guess the best thing for me is like, I'm super resourceful on whatever it is in front of me. Like I'm always going to be solution based. So I think that's what the operations world should be. It's not just administrative. You're solution based. You need to come with the solutions and start thinking that way. And that could be anywhere from building a brand new system to using something. I don't like recreating the wheel. I don't do anything extraordinary. I'm not talented. I don't think I am. I take the very basics and turn it into what that person needs.
So I would argue against. I think you're very talented in the roles that you have, right? I mean, it's there is a specific, Kate and I talk about this a lot, that what she likes to do is my personal hell.
Okay.
So what you're and what I do is probably her personal hell. But what you do is hard and is complicated, and not everyone can do it, right? If everyone could do it, there would be no need for your role, right? So, I would challenge that you're not talented. Anyway, you said you have 300 agents kind of under your umbrella now, and that everything's kind of personal within a framework. Do you actually sit down with 300 agents and mold them or mold your framework to their likeness? Or is it kind of if they want to play, they play?
So that's the thing too. Like, I feel like there is so much out there, that agents are focusing on the wrong things in my world that I've seen too. Like they get very, I hate the term. Like, I wish we could take chaos out of real estate. I'm so tired of hearing about chaos, and like probably half your podcasts are on chaos and how to manage in the chaos. Like, I'm so tired of hearing about it. Like, we need to talk more about our structure and what it is to build. So one, there's a mass that come to me that are attracted to my intention. I show up positive, with a smile on my face, a little hop to my skip. And I'm passionate about the people I'm with, where I'm sitting, no matter where that is. I've had many seats in the almost 9 years I've been in the industry. I come in 150%, even when my personal stuff is bullshit. Like, we have enough bullshit built in our life. This is where I can thrive and build. So I think people are attracted to that, and that comes in. But yes, I am making phone calls. I'm connecting to them. I'm begging them to come in and do a one-on-one. I just did one yesterday with 2 agents, one experienced, one new, branding together, and they brought out their business plan to me, and I started asking them questions, and I kind of filled in. I was like, I would do this, I would add this. I was kind of adjusting their frameworks. I was like, this is a good start, here's where I would go with this. And they were like, at the end, they were like, oh my gosh, I was so excited to bring you this solid business plan and you found all the holes I didn't even think of. And I was like, that's not what I'm trying to do. They're like, no, this is great. Like for the first time, my whole career, I feel like I have now that path forward to actually execute at a high level. Like
it's interesting because I've owned 20 something businesses in my lifetime. And I think I've written one business plan, like actually pen to paper written, or fingers to keyboard, written one business plan. Everything else has been, I know what I'm doing, I'm just going to do it without much structure. How often do you see that? I'm guessing 97%. And how do you beat that out of people?
It's funny. Well, one, I feel like I'm one of those people. So I've met like some really high producing people. It just means they do a lot of transactions, help a lot of families and things like that. And I'll be like, hi, I'm Shannon Mabberley. They're like, I don't even have a database. So they open with what's broken. And I was like, how much volume did you do? I wish I could tell you that. They maybe know how much they made. And some of those agents now too, like I've like kind of been like, okay, can we just have a call? Like, I know I'm not like on your team or whatever, like, but please, like, can we look at it and tell me why we're scared to like work in a database or CRM, like whatever it is. So, yeah, I just think one, they open it up to me, and two, it's just easy for me to see. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like they, you know, doing an actual business plan. You'll have, like yesterday, they just had their lead gen. Like that's what they had. And that's, to me, solid enough to show them what they need. So we had open houses on there, and then they wanted to do 2 a week. So I was like, okay, where are we doing the open houses? How many contacts are you getting from your open houses? How many, signs? How many, social media posts? When are you planning your open houses? How many are you going to close for your open houses? So it's literally taking that. And then we started building in a set, like everything. And I was like, so after we did all these 4 lead gens is, 32 transactions. Is that where you thinking you were landing? And they weren't even close, but like they were. So I had to work backwards in a sense to show them that this is the beginning of an actual business plan. And then I always do. So the funny thing about this year is I made my own business plan. Every year I end up making everyone else's, or the teams or the overalls. I made my own this year for the first time. That was selfishly for me. So
I think we talked about that.
I
think we talked about that a lot, actually. So
yeah.
Shannon and I had what we referred to as hammock time, where we talked for hours about all manner of stuff. And I think some good stuff came out of that for both of us. So you mentioned open houses. Now I want to change directions a bit. I know that your previous team did open houses as a master class. So if you have an agent who's looking to get in open houses, what advice do you give them? I've never done one. What do I do?
Go do it, first of all. I can't tell you. So like I was in a position a couple months ago. It was probably before our hammock talk, but maybe that same week. And I had nothing, but I got a signed listing, and I was like, I don't have open house signs. I don't have something for them to sign in on. And it was my friend. I was in my friend Nick's office, and he was like, what would you tell any other agent right now? I'm like, I'm going to tell them to go do the open house. Go do the open house and don't think about the other things. Oh, my lights went out. Don't think about the other things happening. I'll see if I can. There we go. Go create the relationships, set up signs, do what you need to do. Make sure it's on. I mean, it is a whole system in itself, but I would say a lot of people will look for a certain price range. Don't do that. Looking for certain areas. Don't do that. I only want to do an hour. Don't do that. You need to do 3 hours. Like, be committed to what you're doing in that week and go do them. I do think open houses is the first structure to do, because I think it is the low-hanging fruit. As someone that had to restart recently, I will have my best first quarter from doing open houses when no one else wanted to show up. That is all I've done every weekend is show up at an open house. I'll have one person through, and I swear I'm grabbing their contact information. I don't have business cards. I don't have sign-ins. I'm connecting with them. I'm being resourceful. They're asking for my phone number. They're standing in line to talk to me. So go out and do it and be resourceful in the neighborhood.
So do you, it sounds like you don't, but I'm asking anyway, target a specific area, whatever area that is. Did you say, you know, I want to focus my business between A Street and 9th Street and, you know, in this square? Did you try to specialize in that area, or you just kind of throw a dart at a map and wherever it lands, it lands?
So for me, it's doing it, being consistent about doing the open houses. I have worked with lots of agents that do open houses in their farm, so that's farming. If you're going to pick a certain area, I have an agent right now, she wants to be 10 minutes from her house because she has babies. So she has to be strategic on where those are and set up a map view, look at MLS, connect with other brokers if it's not offered at our, you know, making sure that she could do that in a way in that targeted area that she's not further away from her house. I will do it anywhere. I've done them in Downeyville, which is a 2-hour drive. I do them in Grass Valley all the time. It depends on where the need is. And I go very consistently with it. I have a certain amount of open houses I want to do, a certain amount of contacts, a certain amount of closings. The lowest hanging fruit is going to be open houses because they are literally walking in the door to look at a house. It is the easiest way to get business than having to like cold call or door knock or whatever it is.
Do you feel like there's, go ahead. Okay. Do you feel like there's anything that agents do pretty consistently or on average that is just such a waste of time, unlike open houses?
Social media, and there's some big, I hope you have social media people on here. I think a lot of agents worry about marketing and branding too much, and they're not out there establishing the relationship. I see a lot of agents are avoidance. They're avoidance naturally by nature. I feel like most salespeople are pretty good avoidance in their relationships. If you were just going out there intentionally and doing it, I mean, I think that's a whole other thing. So I feel like they're creating business plans to submit, you know, push 5 things out on Instagram. And like already there, I'm like, why are you just doing Instagram? Why aren't you doing Facebook, YouTube, you know, Indeed, like LinkedIn? Like, why aren't you mass doing it? But like, that to me is just like throwing a hammer into the universe and hopefully you're going to hit that nail you need to do versus very intentional there. And it's not saying there's some agents that do really, really good on social media. I get, you know, connections from social media. It is not through a post or it's through their connection with me on my stories where they feel like they're involved in my lives or they're like, hey, that's a cute house that she was walking by or whatever. Creating an experience. That's where I get them. And that's usually not done in a post.
And posting things on social media is relatively low commitment wise in terms of putting yourself out there, I feel like. So what I'm hearing is putting yourself out there and making real connections, you know, showing the world that you're not just another person posting ads or what have you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
there, you know, you got to have a landing page. Like you need to have a call to action if you're doing social media. I'll see agents spend hours and hours and days on, you know, a newsletter and marketing. And I think like, I mean, I'm big on the $1 Million Real Estate Agent, the book. It does talk about marketing and branding yourself. I just think we're catching on to what's easy versus what's going to actually bring you business. Like I'm not an influencer. And you're a licensed realtor, you're not an influencer either. Although they're fun and I do the fun stuff too for me, for my pleasure. Like it's not for bringing in business. Like that's what I mean. Like when I'm more intentional or a story that's intentional that someone grasps onto, that's where I grab business on. It's from being authentic. So I feel like when agents are wasting their, like, I feel like that's a time waste for them is marketing. They should, marketing comes with a cost. You can do really well if you have a lot of money and you could pay people to follow you and video you and do all those things. But to me, this is an industry that's low cost with high contact rate. You're going to have those other guerrilla ways that's going to get you better, more consistent business. And then get really good on the other side. Like as you're building that up, you can be very high touch with your social media. It's a full-time job. My brother's an influencer and he does that all day. There's no way he would be able to sell a house if he was a realtor, but he makes his money as influencing on social media. So
That's crazy. I can't imagine. I mean, I do a lot of social media. I think I consume more than I create lately, but I can't imagine that being my full-time job. Like that's silly. That's Looney Tunes.
Yeah. And it's like these people aren't like my brother would like pay. I just was in a room with 75 agents and taught in front of it for 6 hours. My brother couldn't do that. He
Right.
couldn't be in a room with 3 people. So, and I think some agents are seeing like an entry level to doing that, but like that's not, we're not selling social media. We're selling lifestyles here, home ownership, community, things like that. That's actually going to be more guerrilla, where this is just good leverage.
How much time do agents waste feeling busy than actually being productive, do you think?
Let me pull out all my charts. Well, that's something like, so I would do this all the time. So I do a time audit study on the last team I was on to see and restructure the team. So I would do it about once a quarter. They didn't know I was time auditing them, but I would see what they were doing, seeing where they were their highest and best self, seeing where I needed more production from them, seeing if we needed a challenge or something to focus on. So I do think it is easy. It's easy to get stuck in emails. So I probably have more, like I've seen top agents with a ton of emails, but I still probably get more a day than anyone else. And I check it twice a day. And if I'm expecting something, I'll go like, hey, I sent you this, there's a counter. And on top of that, I'm managing, at one point I was managing 32 agents on a team and managing their emails. And I was still able to separate that part of my day and not have it consume me or getting lost in emails and avoiding what they need to be doing, which is, we're in a lead generation business. So I do see that they'll focus and on the wrong things probably 90% of their day. I've only seen, there's a few agents I've seen where they are at their highest level, and that's still probably only 15% of their day.
Wow.
So think if we were, and that's where, so like I feel a little different, like why maybe I feel like I stand out in this rough industry, this tough industry, is that I can actually end days and tell you, like, feel good about it. Like I hit all my priorities. I did, and then there's bonuses like I have in there because I'm really structured on what needs to be done and clear coming in. And when you're having to come in with agents that aren't clear and they're not focused on production, that's where I feel like we should all be focusing on how many people, like who do I need to talk to that needs to buy or sell today? And that's all you got to do. And you'll be in the top 1%.
That makes sense.
If that matters to you.
Yeah. And so some people it does, right? I am a medium producer. I wanted to be a top producer, all the deals all the time. I don't want to work that hard anymore, right? I have a dollar amount that I need to hit to keep my lights on, be able to survive and feed my kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as I get there, I'd rather just make sure my team is supported and do fun stuff like podcasts, right? Like this is more beneficial to me mentally than it is to grind and grind and grind. And I think some of that comes with age, some comes with experience, some comes with burnout, right? And I think that all of those things probably apply to me. We talked during our hammock time, we talked about that I think teams are ridiculous. And and you challenged me on that, and I appreciate you challenged me on that because I have a new perspective on that. But I still challenge the cost of a team member, right? So, typical universe, right? Broker gets a split, and then a team lead or a team gets a split. And I think you told me at one point that it was a 50% net split. So the agent would take 50% and the broker and team combined would take 50%. How do you sell that to an agent that only getting half will make them more money?
Well, one, you could do more. Like, I've always felt and am passionate about when I'm so I've only been on a team. I've done solo a little bit. I worked side by side by one agent, but we still operated like a team. So even solo, you have your TCs and leverage in a way that you're still functioning as a team. Teams provide, and it just depends. Like for me, like right now, in my phase right now is you want collaboration. You want somewhere your business can thrive. You want to let go of a little of it. You don't want to worry about all these little things. And that's where a team comes in. They already have the systems in place. They already have anything you could need. So teams usually provide a CRM, marketing to your database, automation, and then reach. Reach is big for me too. So collaborating with a team, let's just take our social media where I said where you're wasting our time. Like if you have a team in collaboration, you're talking to a client. I have about 30,000 people reach on social media because I operate as a team. The values are going to be coming from your listing consultations, your buyer consultation, your seamless and effortless process for your clients too. So something that you can grow and scale a big business, or you can stay where you need to be and not take on the extra things of running a business, like, starting up an LLC, which some have. Creating all of this can take, I know for me, it's taken me a really long time to build up operations, to hold so many different agents and businesses. So that's where people get stopped, is they're not, they're stuck on like a name, or what do I do with this, or which CRM do I use? Like, who's going in here and doing it? When you have a team operating at a high level, you don't have to think about those things. It's just the value that's added on. For me, it's like agents could come and partner with me on my team, and they only got to worry about high level conversations with their clients, their highest and best use self. They don't have to worry about the 80% of the business. I did all that. You just go have your conversations, go sign contracts, go show them houses, communities, things like that. And then I'll take it from there.
What percentage of people that come to you do you recommend joining a team?
So I get a lot of people that are like, I want leads right now. And when I'm like, okay, are you open to doing open houses and things like that? And I'm finding out they want just generated leads coming in on a regular basis, and they're not sure how to build their database. I'll recommend a team for that. I've worked with my good friend David, our mutual friend. Was a solo agent before I met him. He said, I'll never join a team, ever. And he joined my team. So it was the extra value and systems that he saw, that he could actually just be himself and show up where he wants to show up at his highest self for that part of the business. And then the rest was taken care of. Summits, they want to be able to go on vacation and not have to worry about things, and their business still carries on. There's so many different variations of why they join. For me, it's like they sit down, I personally ask them what their goals are in life, their vision for their next 5 years, the rest of their lives, find out who they are as a person, their family, whatever it is, why they got into real estate. A lot of them have been on sports teams before. For some reason, I find people that have been in team environments before do really, really well on real estate teams. Because you get it. If you think about a sports team, you're all collectively trying to win the game, but you all have your talents. Same with real estate. We're a melting pot of people that have our own unique talents. That's why you can build an amazing team with so many different businesses and do really well for that one goal. But everybody's doing their own goals. Like, this guy's, really good, farming agent. He likes door knocking and has a really good established farm. But this person's good at social media. So they're using their talents to get that goal, right? So that's where that kind of comes in.
So how would you encourage agents to overlap their skill sets? Like you just talked about someone who does social media and someone who's a great door knocker and farming. Would you have them work together to improve their skills in the other respect? Or would you have them partner to, okay, we have listing, 123 Main Street, you do socials, all door knock, and let's meet in the middle. Like, is there an SOP for that?
Both. So I, absolutely. So there's an SOP for listings, there's an SOP for the type of lead generations, and I go all in. So for example, if I had a listing hitting the market, I have people that love door knocking. I have people that love doing open houses. I have people that actually like cold calling. So they each will use their skill because they would die if they had to go knock on someone's door, right? They'd rather call, or vice versa. So we'll use those multiple skill sets to hit it at the masses, and touch point at a really high level on that listing, and everyone's using their skill set and probably generating contacts, which is what they're looking to do. And then listings, typically when you have a team on them, sell faster because you are open housing, you are door knocking, you're using all these skills. I've tried all of them. And then when I first started in the industry, I did for sale by owners and expireds because I didn't want to work my sphere. So I chose probably the hardest one besides my sphere. And it's so funny now because that's all my business is referrals and past clients and the people that know, love me and trust me. But I was so against it my first 4 years that I chose the hardest part of the business to do.
2 years. It was 2 years for me, and I was forced. I hired a marketing firm that was like, okay, so you need 700 people in your database before you can join us. And I was like, I've got 3,000 people on my phone. That's easy. You're going to send them all postcards. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Nope, absolutely not. Then you're fired. I'm like, well, okay, so let's talk about this. Why? and they explained it. And you cannot use me as a benchmark for anything. My life is stupid and doesn't make any sense. But I sent 700 postcards to people on my phone. And within 3 weeks, I had 3 deals from postcards. The first one was a guy who I hadn't talked to in over 15 years. And he came up in my phone. He had a contact photo, so I knew him. I could not for the life of me remember why. If you'd put him in a lineup, I wouldn't have been able to pick him out. But he knew all the things, and he's rattling off things we did together, and I was like, oh, totally. Right? And I ended up signing his parents, and then him, and then sold him a house, and sold his current house, and from one postcard, right? And you cannot tell any agent, you send one postcard and you'll get a deal. That's not reality, but it was my reality. And now I got no problem marketing in my sphere because I got exactly 0 negative feedback, and I got deals out of it. So
yeah,
it's hard to tell an agent that, So when I have brand new agents, I say, your first deal is going to come within 2 arms lengths of you, right? Someone you know, or a referral from someone you know, right? And so go work who you know. And you wouldn't be, but the average consumer would be amazed at how few agents are actually willing to talk to their sphere. Leave your light off. Leave your light off. Your camera looks better.
Okay. We'll see. I'll turn
you look really good in the dark. That is not what I meant.
Oh boy.
Oh, I wiggled too much.
That's all right. So Katie, you got questions. What do you got? I'll stop talking.
I do. You've obviously worked with quite a few agents. What would you say is the worst piece of advice you've ever heard an agent say out loud?
So years back, I went to a training at a really big brokerage, and there was a really big agent in front of the room, and he said, do not market to millennials. Don't try to sell houses to millennials. Work on, what's the generation above millennials? Gen X or Z or not? And above, baby boomers, like millennials will never buy. Stop wasting your time. And I remember sitting there and like people were like taking notes
Oh,
on not doing, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then like 2 years later, millennials were the majority of the market and still are today and coming into it strong. So I think, and that could go across many. I like the questions like, don't do this, don't do that, live in that, like those, I'm always challenging that. I'm like, no, like that's not right. And so sure enough, and a majority of my business millennials. I'm a millennial too, but I feel like millennials have taken on so much as a generation that we can handle all the generations in the housing market just fine. But that sticks out to me. Like there was a whole training on it, and I was like, they're talking about this, like they're not ashamed of this.
yeah.
And I'm like sitting in there, like, do they not think I can buy? So if they're saying that to agents, the consumer is feeling that too.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of breaking and disruption I want to do, is just when people say, don't do that.
So do you have any like mantras or pieces of advice that you tell yourself with some regularity that have helped you stay on course with succeeding?
I could probably be better with mantras. I have what I have always felt like is a chip on my shoulder. I'll always like, that's why I don't feel like I have talent. I will always be the hardest working person in the room. I will be always looking for solutions. And that's why like even adjusting, like I'm going on my 9th year in real estate, no one's asked what I've wanted when we do business planning. Like I've always had to structure around the people I wanted. And then some of that's the role I had, but like really, was I in the right rooms? Like no one's asking.
Yeah.
Right? Like Ken asked me, what do you want? And I didn't know. And I've gotten a lot of that recently where I'm like, I don't know what I want. It's not that simple of a question. I haven't had time to think of it. So yeah.
I argue it really is that simple of a question. You just don't want to answer it.
It's too complicated of a question. I can't even answer that. I'm similar. I'm always typically the hardest working person. And it's like, well, again, no one stopped to ask like, well, what do you want? It's like, I don't fucking know. I'm supporting everyone else. Sorry, I cursed. I get it.
Yeah. It's
well,
really...
so let's take a minute and dig into that though. So we talked about this 6 weeks ago, right? And you made some significant changes in your life, personally and professionally. And what have you figured out what it is that you do want?
I'm working on that. I mean, I think clarity was one thing. It's been in my head. And like, it's weird for like the mantras, because like I wake up every morning and I get out of bed. And this year I got knocked down a lot. And every day I had to wake up not only for my humans that I'm supporting in my house, but like for other people. And like I had a really good, someone gave me a good analogy. One of my good friends in the industry too sat down with me and he's like, have you ever been on a boat and that boat stops, but the waves keep coming and kind of push the boat to keep it going? That's how this year's been for me. There's been some waves of people that are like, without saying, they're like, when people are like, you'll be fine or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, whatever. Like, this is not fine. Like, this is very disruptive. And wasn't in the plan, right? It never is. But it was like just enough. Like Ken's like conversation we had, like I got really clear on what I've been chasing after. But establishing that I need clarity in my life, that I can be enough for me. I've been enough for a lot of people that haven't been enough for me, but I can be enough. And having even the conversation like, joining a team or not or whatever. In this case now I'm building my own. And it was sitting in my heart because a lot of people, like, that part of me wasn't done of the team. But it is very easy, like, to sit down and be like, this is all I need to take care of my family. Holy crap. This is all I need to do. And it's not this crazy vision, and it's very present. And that matters, is being present. So working on that.
Yeah. That's what I said 10 minutes ago, is that I need to make this. Once I make that, then I can F off and do what I want. Right?
Yeah.
So.
And no, I don't think anyone has that conversation. And I've been in a lot of rooms where it's like, no, push harder or whatever. And there are some people where I'm like, oh, you want to do 15? No, like, you're not going to do 15. But I know that's what they need or what they want, or whatever. Like, I had my partner, one of my business partners last year. So like in 2024, or it was 2023 going into 2024, was like, I want to make this much gross. And it turns out that that number was lower that he told me. And I was like, no, we're going to do it. And I helped him, like, and it was fun and exciting. And he hit that and didn't even realize. We celebrated it. I was like, you're one deal away. Like, all that was there. And it wasn't even that many transactions, right? And he's impacting these people where the business is coming out the other end too. Like, he's highly intentional in those relationships of helping people buy, sell, invest, that it was fun and real again for him, and his goals with no problem.
That's awesome.
All right. So what is one thing that your team members do that absolutely makes you crazy? Not naming names.
I think for me is like, it's right in front of them. I think a lot of people look, when they have me in their lives, even as a director of operations on a small, like, medium, big team to a large team, it's like they think systems are going to solve all their problems. That's not true, because there are a lot of the problems and chaos. Systems is a word that I'm changing my vocabulary next year, because I'm going to take a shot every time someone says systems, and I'm probably going to be drunk by 9 a.m. on January 1st. Systems are just habits. That's all there is. So systems need to be incorporated with accountability. The only reason why my production can continue to grow, I can give to my team so freely of my production that I don't keep it. I pass it. If someone's struggling, I will give an agent a deal or show them where they are. It's because I'm using the structure so well and the habits I need to leverage and believe in it and believe that it's there, that my relationship is better than any of that. So that's one of the things I think that drives me crazy, is they think systems will solve all their problems, but it's not. And agents that try to chase production and they haven't built systems around their production, and they burn out, or they drop balls, or they stall, whatever they are in their business. Structure saves years and years of frustration.
Totally.
So systems or habits save years and years of frustration.
Yeah. Well, systems are habits. That's all they are. That's all they are. There's nothing magical that we do. And, like, think about it like this. Like, I'm going on a tangent, but this is like one of my shower thoughts was, are we selling houses? Because, like, so we have to be salesmen, and sometimes we think that's it. So we're, like, improving our skills, we're doing scripts, we're doing all these things. For me, when I go buy this phone, it's an Apple phone, And I know you're
Blech.
People are not buying it because it's a phone. They're buying it because of the tools in there, the resources, the use of it, the ease of it, that I can buy a new phone and tap them together. And it's just like the other phone with a better camera. Like, you improve and you upgrade, but the phone and the reliability of the iPhone or Android, if you're an Android user, since you guys will die using Androids, is the simplicity of it. The iPhone is actually a really simple thing, or any Apple product. And that's what I'm kind of a sheep for. Like, I want simplicity. We take the home is people are buying community. They're changing their lifestyle drastically. They're moving up, they're moving out. They had a loss. Like, there's so many things in resale that we're not actually selling the house. Like, if I want to gag going in a house, be like, here's the kitchen. Like, I don't want to, like, if you're my buyer, I open the door and I let you go see the house and feel the house. I will negotiate for you. I will give you, everything you need so you're armed and ready to buy this house. We're talking about community. We're talking about building lives, saving lives, whatever it is. I'm not there to sell a house. It's a lifestyle.
I love that.
Well, whatever.
Yeah. I'm similar in that regard. In fact, I tend to follow people around, right? So I'm there if they have questions. What is that for, right? What is the? Oh, it's a whole house fan. Like, that's pull the chain. It's fun, right? I mean, I'm there for that stuff. But off tangent, I had a good friend who I was showing houses to, and she went into a bedroom or something, and I just kind of stood in the doorway. She turned around, she saw me, she said, "You shouldn't do that." It's like, do what? I'm just standing here. She's like, "Yeah, you're blocking the door, and you're a big scary guy, and I'm a single woman alone with a big scary guy, and you're blocking my only way out." And I was like, Yep, I am. I'm going to move now.
In your orange shorts.
100%, right? And she wasn't scared of me. Obviously, we were friends. But it was probably some of the best advice I've gotten in real estate, actually, is to not be between my client and the way out, right? Because I am a big dude. If I wanted to be scary, I could be. And, it's... Okay, maybe not to you guys, but like to a random person on the street, I could be scary.
Yes.
Not just a teddy bear. But no, I mean, that's talk about random advice, the don't block the doorway. And even with other males, right? There's some, I'm boxed in a room now with someone blocking the door, and it's totally off tangent. But that was this is the kitchen with people. But don't block the door. That's my advice for the day.
Yeah, that's good advice. I just meet them where they are, get them to where they need to go. And it is not about the house. I mean, it's a big financial thing. I remember I was so scared in the beginning, with, and I've had some scary stuff happen to clients and things like that with a lot of money. And it's, all that stuff comes down to the relationship and understanding who they are and where they want to go and getting them there. And it's not selling a house. And that's one thing agents, I feel like, do. They just like improve all these scripts, but they're not out there actually creating a connection. And that's where, like, I find the foundation of real estate is community, or vice versa. The foundation of community is real estate, because we're helping them buy, sell, invest in these communities. So we should get to know the communities and our clients a little bit better. The house is standard stuff.
If you want a village, you have to be a
roof.
villager. Yeah.
So how does an agent, you, me, somebody else, sell the community when your service area is so vast and wide? You can't know everything about every neighborhood in Grass Valley and every neighborhood in Elk Grove, right? So how do you sell the community in very diverse, very geographically diverse, social, economically, politically, pick your Italy, right? How do you manage that? How do you explain to that to even the same client? I've had clients look in Calaveras County and Placer County, right? Like those are two different worlds. But how do you explain the value of that community and how they would fit into that community?
So very early on, well, one, I grew up in Northern California, so I do know just enough to make me dangerous, I feel like. Um, and I was active in my community growing up too. So I was doing things with legislation and involved in the community with 4-H. So I knew enough. I knew where the money went. I knew where, I saw the mall get built here in Roseville. I've been around long enough. But when I got into real estate, well, I'm a learner by heart, a big educator. Like I love educating and learning something. I was like, I wish I could do that my whole life. Real estate's a pretty good way to do that because we always have to learn. But immediately, not only scripts to learn how to have the conversations. I wasn't scared of it, but I would have my scripts on the side of my screen, practice here and there, role playing. Every day I would look at Metrolist and I would start looking at homes and neighborhoods. I started where the teacher becomes taught. What is that what I'm looking for? I would do newsletters about a different community, or I'd start looking at community events. I would go there. So I would go to shows, a theater in Arnold, or I'd go hiking over here and I'd stop by the little town, Elk Grove. I would, do what I had to do to get in and out of Elk Grove. The traffic's always crazy. Now, so that's what I did. I would spend a portion of my week spending time researching the communities that I would help people buy or sell in.
Okay.
That's the truth, of it. Now, what I do, because I don't know every neighborhood, is I use AI to tell me. So I leverage AI at a high level. And if I have a client that's looking in a specific area, one, I've been around long enough that I can kind of give the basics to make me dangerous. And then I go to my bots that I've made to help me establish a relationship and get more information about those neighborhoods. I do think we have to be neighborhood experts. I've had the opposite. I had somebody, Davis buyer, that told me he didn't want to use me because I don't live there and I've never lived there. And he's like, I want someone that lives here, that knows the area. And I was like, wouldn't you want someone that does know the area that you're wanting to buy in, as well as these other areas? I have a mass majority. I have a bigger book of business, which means I have more connections to other agents than they probably do staying in this tight little neighborhood. Wouldn't you rather have that worldly, 30,000 view than just right here? And he ended up going with me. When it wasn't talking bad, it was just like, you're right. I don't live there. I've never lived there, but I know I will get you to where you need to go.
Yeah, I got a lot of listings, especially during COVID with, I grew up in the Bay Area, right? I have 3,000 contacts on my phone that are all Bay Area folk. And so the elusive Bay Area buyer, right, that was the boogeyman out here for years. And I knew all of them, at least in theory. And I did bring people up from the Bay Area during COVID because they could sell their condo for $27 billion and move out here and buy 10 acres and a horse ranch for 17 cents. So, but for a minute, then it went up to 19 cents. But so that works, right? My breadth of knowledge is more valuable than the pointed knowledge of where you, right? So you mentioned the things that you've done on a weekly basis. What does a typical day look like for you? So you wake up. What time do you wake up? And then what do you do until you go to bed? What's a Tuesday look like?
Oh, we're getting really vulnerable here. So so we talked a little bit about goals. One of my goals, just to keep it here, is that I will not take a meeting before 11 a.m. in my near future. I don't want to start my day before 11 a.m.
Same.
Yeah. But I do start very early. It starts even earlier than a Tuesday. So on Sunday, I write down my 10 priorities to get clarity on where I'm going for the week, because I have to win every day. I'm very competitive. And I don't need a checklist stuff, but I need big priorities and make sure I'm hitting over 50% of them. And that includes personal priorities. Like if I need to be present as a mother to take my kid to the doctor, like I need to make that a priority, or I will forget it. Like I don't think I'm the best mother in the world, but they're my everything, and I try really, really hard all the time. So I prioritize them in my work priorities. So I have clarity. So the night before, I typically know what time I need to wake up. The clock auto goes off for me. I wake up probably about 5:40 normally. And I'll prep all my emails. So I'll schedule all my emails. I don't send them at 6 a.m. So I'm just doing my first round of email batches, what I need to do, prioritizing that day and getting whatever tasks I need to do. Tasks bother me. I'm probably a big visionary, but I've never had the role as a visionary. I think I will soon. So I hate tasks. I hate building systems. It's kind of crazy to say on here, but I'm so tired of building systems. I've done it for 9 years. I'm tired of it. Let's just run with what we have. Quit, dragging me down. So as soon as I can get through those tasks or anything I need to build, I will do that really quickly and do that in the first part of my morning. So I'm only doing high relationship things. I try to be in the office by 8:30, and rolling and get my coffee, get settled, get the jitters out. And I'm just high level from there on out. My best hours though are 11 to 1 p.m. So that's when you'll see me building or doing the shit I don't want to do. That will be in that 11 to 1 hour because it's my highest and best use self.
Okay. And so after 1, what happens? Are you making phone calls? Are you going to the gym?
Yeah. So my day is split. So majority 8 hours of my day is focused on agents right now. And then I do clients before and after those hours. So I lead gen right now from 5 to 7. That's just what my day looks like, or open houses on the weekend. I'm rebuilding my business and rebuilding my database. So like you said, you took your phone. I'm doing the same thing and trying to rebuild those relationships I had with what I have and finding them. So I try to do about 10 of those a day, like calling, texting, whatever our relationship, how we communicated with, making sure they're in my database. And I do that. So I split my day between those 2 jobs: an agent, running a business, building a team, and running a brokerage now.
It's a lot.
I sometimes eat. No, I do eat. I eat a lot. I make sure, not a lot, but I mean, maybe that's all. But sweets get me through the day. But I typically will float my lunch, so where I could fit it in. I don't have a structured time for lunch. And then dinner, I just try to have it done by 7:30.
So a couple things that you went over. You're in the office by 8:30. Do you prefer having a physical office that you go to versus a home office, and why?
Well, I have to be where the people are. So I do like a physical office. I was in tech before real estate. I worked from home, which I thought I would be okay with that. The human contact is so important for our mental health. But at that job, when I worked at tech, I would have hour-and-a-half lunches. I would split up my shifts. I would do things to interact with as many people as possible. So I do feel, there's some days where I've just networked the heck out of me and I'll feel completely drained from people. I'm actually an introvert, that's very extroverted out. So a lot of my energy gets pulled. So when I get back, I don't need a lot of attention. So when I get back home, is kind of when I recoup by myself in a dark room or whatever. But I do better. I hate shutting my door. I mean, I have an office with a door and I typically do, but do you have a minute is what will mess up my whole schedule. So, but I have like time blocks for that, just so you know, too. Like where I'm like, can you come back at 3?
Yeah. I mean, and that's discipline. I mean, that's something I don't have, right? Is if my phone rings, I answer it, right? I will drop what I'm doing if one of my agents calls, right? Like and if I don't answer, I am texting right away, or I have a hot button that says can't talk, can text, what's up, right? So on the answer screen, it literally would be like, can't talk, can't text, what's up? Because I'm doing something. I was texting another agent while we were doing this because they're at a showing and couldn't get in. But yeah, so I get the, distractions suck. But in my role and in your role, that's almost par for the course.
It is.
Right. So, all right. And then I think we're out of time. So last thing, I know the answer to this, but I want this to be a learning experience for others. Why are you rebuilding your database?
Sometimes when you join a team, your database is owned by that team. So I am rebuilding because I didn't get my database.
So there is a lesson. There's a lesson with a few solutions, right? One is back up your data as often as possible, right? So you don't have this problem. And two, and you're going to hate this, and I'm going to say it anyway, is don't use your brokerage's tools. Don't use your team's tools, right? If your team is like, here, use our CRM, you'd be like, no, thanks. I have my own. Because that happens, and it happens far too often. And I hate to throw you under the bus there, but but it happened to you recently, right? And so you're a prime example. You're a very high producer, a very high level person. You were, I think a team lead on that team, and you still had the rug pulled out from under you, and then that happens, and it's terrible. But you bounce back from that very, very gracefully, and you are excelling in spite of that bullshit. And I'm proud of you for that. So, thank you for falling under the bus for me. I appreciate it. Do you have any other advice or comments that you would like to share with our audience before I cut you off and throw you out?
Let me think. I don't really think so. Let's see if I have any notes that I wanted to say. No, I think we covered it all.
I do have one non-real estate related question. If you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
Oh man, this was I was trying to think of this one too. Gosh, I honestly, I was on my way to getting my master's and life happened. So I always wonder, I wanted to give back in education and be a part of that. I think in my last job in tech, I'd probably be somewhere in tech, or growing there. But what I would truly want to be is probably in the country somewhere, just raising cattle, fields, working with my hands, and not my brain as much.
I love that. That sounds wonderful.
There are days where shoveling cow shit sounds a lot better than what I got to do today.
Yeah, I mean, I can herd livestock. It's probably why I'm so good at not herding, but supporting agents. Is I handled 2,000-pound animals, right? And that chaos and the unknown and controlling that environment has probably made me why I'm so calm today. And cows are simpler. They're way cuter than humans. So
I agree.
On that happy note, where can we find you?
I'm on the social medias. I'm the Dragon Whisperer. So find me there. Let's connect there. I'm at Keller Williams Realty. If you're not going to cut that part out.
Nope. I'm going to leave it in because you are entitled to bad decisions.
Keller Williams. Yep. I'm at Keller Williams in Roseville, and I'm all around. So I'm involved in the community. So if there's something that needs my attention, just let me know. And I've helped all sorts of businesses, not just real estate. So wherever I can help, I'd love to be there.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it. And with that, go forth. Your lights went off again. Go forth and conquer, and we'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Am I hanging?